Hello everyone, it's Laura here, and today I thought I would do a quick live stream on my lunch break. I have a pretty busy morning, but it's winding down a little for the rest of the day, so I thought why not do a little live stream for you guys. So, we have here this page from Magical Dawn by Hannah Carlson. And I thought I would just continue on with this page. So let me get the chat up. Let's see here. Here we go. I found it. All right. So yeah, I thought I would just do another session of this page and get going here. So today I thought I would work on these flowers. And I hope is this fan noisy? I can't really tell. Hello, Mary. Welcome. Thank you for joining me. Can you guys hear my fan? It's pretty warm here already. It's still morning, but it feels like summertime. So yeah, I'm gonna start out first. Let's see, I'm gonna work on these flowers today. Okay, the fan is fine, great. Because I think I'm gonna need it. So I'm gonna start out first with this color, PC 1025 Periwinkle. And I'm gonna go and work on some of these flowers. So let me zoom in, just so that you can see better what I'm up to. Alright. So, how is everyone today? How are you, Mary? I'm just going to start in the center area here. And I just want to add some more shading and detail to what's already down. This is Tombow brush marker that based it out. So I'm just going to give some more details, some more shadows. And looks like we have little Miss Abby here, snuggling up. She's a cutie. I guess she heard me talking and had to come over and investigate. Alright. So I'm just going to go along these lines that Hannah has already drawn. And I'm just going to darken up some areas along this little flower petal. And I'm using circular motions. That's because I want this to feel soft and you don't want any start-stop areas. Oh, you're off work today, Mary. Oh, that's great. I worked this morning, and I probably will end up having some things to do this afternoon, but it's a light work day for me too, so I thought to do a little lunchtime live stream. This is different for me, but why not, right? Okay, so this is starting to already come together more. So we have this little area down here I'm going to give a little shadow to, and maybe a little bit right in here. And let's carry this guy up. Let's do that. And soften this little spot right here. Like that. So as I shade these, I'm just keeping in mind where the light source is coming from. So I've already established it as coming from this way. So I'm just going to keep going now with the other petal. Let's see. And I'm not so great at flowers. That's something that I'm not as comfortable with. I love people and I'm better at that than flowers, but I am getting better. But if you have your own way that you do this, then please, by all means, because I am not the best at this, so that's something that I'm always trying to work on. So yeah, very excited about this page. It's almost done. So I thought, oh, yeah, Abby's here. Little cutie. Let's zoom out so that way. Hey, sweetheart. I've got the little kitty here. I'll show you guys. She's right here. Hey, cutie. What are you doing, huh? Oh, sorry. This is live. There we go. Oh, goodness. Hello. We have Karen here. Welcome. Seems like Abby has decided to claim this side of the page for herself. Cutie. Alright, that's okay because we're not coloring there, so she's alright. Let's just, there we go. Alright. So back to it. We've got little Abby here now helping us out. I don't remember exactly where I was. I think this will work. So I'm just adding some details and kind of softening. That marker is kind of streaky. You can see like some areas where it's not perfect. That's totally okay. We're gonna just smooth that out with our colored pencil. Rita. Well, thank you, Mary. I'm glad you like it. I'm really enjoying this page. This was a request, and I love doing requests, so if anybody has requests for the next live stream series, I am finishing this one up probably tomorrow. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to finish up the live stream series, and then the rest of the stuff, like the background, which I demonstrated how I'm going to do it, but I haven't finished it yet. I'm going to do that all in a time-lapse video, I think. And so that way you guys can still see how I do it, but it'll be sped up so it's not as long. Just because I've showed you the technique, and I think that's good enough. And then if you want to see how I accomplish the rest, you could check that out in a time-lapse. I think that would be the best way to go about that, because the background's going to take me another, like, I don't know, probably another like 6 to 10 hours. So I don't want to do like 6 to 10 hours of background work. I think that might be a little boring, but yeah, I think a little time-lapse video might do the trick. So yeah, I think tomorrow is going to be the last live stream for this page, and then I'm going to pick another one. And I think I'm going to do a voting for tomorrow. So if you guys are around tomorrow morning, I'm going to try and live stream around 9 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, and I'm going to do a vote on what the next page will be. So if you're interested in putting in your suggestions, now is the time. And that'll be super exciting. I always love starting new pages, finishing pages, and starting new ones. It's always really exciting. So I'm going to show you how I do this flower here. And then I'll do some of these leaves too. I think that'll be a nice way to demonstrate how I'll do the rest. And I love the combo of the marker and the pencil. It really is very forgiving. What's nice is the marker puts down a base, so you don't have to really press really hard or burnish all the time. The white of the paper is already gone. But then the pencil allows you to kind of cover up any harshness or streakiness that happens with the marker. And so it ends up a really nice result in a lot quicker time than just pencils alone. And if the streakiness of markers bothers you, then pencil is the best way, I feel, to cover that up and really make it much nicer. So now I don't worry about the streaks so much, because I know I can do this. It's great. Karen, I do have some cloud background tutorials, but which page are you thinking of? I can definitely do a cloudy sky for the next page, whichever one gets chosen. And I can show you a specific technique if you're interested, because I've done a lot of different cloudy backgrounds, and they're all slightly different. So, but I love drawing clouds, so that is not at all a problem to do another cloudy sky. But yeah, I did a tutorial on like a bright cloudy sky in watercolor, and I think I also did another one in colored pencil. But yeah, I can do more. I just want to do a different style, like so that way I'm not doing all the same types of videos. Yeah, clouds are a lot of fun to do. And once you figure it out, it's pretty easy to do them on everything. So that's fun. See, here's a streak here, so I'm just going to soften up that area there, blend it out. Leave a little white there for a little highlight. So for the cloudy sky, would you like a stormy cloudy sky, a sunset cloudy sky? I've already done like bright white clouds, so I think that's probably been covered. But yeah, I'm happy to do all sorts of different types of skies. So basically the trick I know for flowers is just to make the centers darker and the petals softly transition out to lighter at the ends. So that's kind of my flower coloring style, if you will. So like right here, I forgot a whole section in markers. That's totally okay. We can fix that with our colored pencil. Okay. Okay, sure. I can definitely do either a stormy or a sunset one. The more dramatic skies. I love doing sky backgrounds. They're so much fun, and what's great is you can't really mess it up because the sky changes every second, so it's never the same. So you can't really make a mistake. It can be whatever you want it to be. Alright, so I've faced out that flower now. It's looking much smoother than the others. So now I'm going to go in and do this, these little center doodles, whatever they are. So let's see, what color do I want? I think to make some contrast, I'm going to pick a couple different colors. Let's see, these two should be nice. Let me just sharpen this guy real quick. Baby, did that startle you? Sorry, cutie. Okay, so the next color I'm going to use is this PC 943. This is burnt ochre. This is one of my favorite colors. I love this for shadows and shading. So I'm going to go in just the very center area. I want to create some contrast and some depth. So I'm going to, and I'm using like a more contour line approach here. So I'm doing like little half moon shapes. This is to try and give it some volume. So just in the center, I'm not going to go much farther than right here. And this guy here, maybe just to separate these two out, I will go up here. But just on the side. And now for this guy, since it's in a different position, and this little tiny one. Oh, you're very welcome. And Karen, I feel like you could probably save it, but I'd be interested to see what you consider a mistake or a mess up. Alright, so that's already looking a little better. But let's switch over to PC 1092. This is Nectar. And I'm just going to go and add a little more detail and shading on the far side. So since the light is coming from this way, I'm going to shade on the other side, so on the back side of that. And it's very subtle, but it does help just to create some more depth. My little kitty's super cute right now. She's hot too, but she definitely wants to stick around today. She's not leaving. I don't have air conditioning in my studio, and it's very warm and humid today. So I feel for her. She's got fur, but she just doesn't like to leave. I have a, my bedroom is always cooler, so sometimes I wish she would go in there to get some relief. Sometimes I have to take her in there just to make sure she's okay. Alright, and then just to add a little bit of effect, I want to create some sort of like reflection of that peachy color, so I'm going to add a little to the blue, just make a little spot just right around, and it's a light touch. I'm not adding a lot, but I do want to kind of create that reflected light kind of look. So just adding a little bit of this peach. I'm reserving the areas right around it because I want that contrast of blue and peach, but just outside of that area, I'm just giving a little bit of this peachy color to the petals. And it creates a nice effect, I think. It just gives it a little more dimension. It's just about where you put it and how much you put down. You don't want too much because then it'll look like the petal is multicolored. I will add a little right here. And right in that little spot there. Like so. Hello, Hella. Yes, she always wants to be where we are. Yeah, Karen, I live in Philadelphia and it's very, very humid. Last week the humidity was like 90% or something crazy like that. Yeah, I mean, most people in this area do have air conditioning, but I live in a very old house, and this house just does not have air conditioning. My downstairs neighbor has air conditioners, but I don't have it because my apartment has a lot of windows, and that's awesome for drawing and for the light. Oh, bummer. Back. Sorry. Okay. But anyway, so I don't have air conditioning, but I try to just cope with it as best I can. So hence the fans and everything. Okay. Thanks for sticking with me through that little buffering issue. I'm going to switch over to PC 933 Violet Blue. And let's zoom back in because we got disconnected. There we go. And I just want to create more contrast, more pop. So I'm going to just right up against this center area, I'm just going to kind of throw in some of this violet blue. And this really will make it pop from the whatever these doodles are. I don't know what those are called, but I like them. And I want them to stand off. So the way to do that is to create shadow behind it. So just in small little selective spots, I'm just going to put this really dark purpley blue in there. And already it's looking a lot better. Woohoo! And I'll add some more shadow to just the back sides of the leaves here, just to kind of keep it consistent. Maybe a little right in here, because this is going to be the darkest petal. It's furthest from the light source. Abby! Oh guys, she is so cute right now. You cutie! Mwah. She's so sweet. I love her. Okay. A little bit more of this blue. And what I do is I just look, like I take a little step back or I lean back and I just look at it and see what it might need, and that's how I judge where to put what and how to stop and when to keep going. So I think maybe a little bit more right over here. Make that other petal stand off. And give a little shadow to these. Oh goodness. Seems like maybe my camera is overheating my phone. I'm really sorry, guys. Yeah, it's already getting hot. I might not be able to stick around for too much longer if my phone is really warm. Too hot to handle. Okay. Let me do some shading behind, just so that you'll see how I'll work with these leaves here. So that way, if we keep cutting out, at least we get some of that in. I'm using PC 988. This is marine green, and I'm just going to shade right back here. Give this more depth and shadow. Also, to get rid of the streaks that are in these leaves, that's no problem. Just want to show you how to do these guys before. I think it might be too hot in the day. But don't worry, I'm going to pick this up again tomorrow morning, and it'll be cooler then, so hopefully it won't happen. Let's see. No, Abby, you're so cute. My little kitty. She loves it when I color. Oh, see you later, Mary. Look at this cutie. So she just loves coloring. You guys, she's so sweet. Okay, I'm back. Frozen peas, huh? I don't think I have frozen peas, but I think I have frozen vegetable medley. Hold on. I have like one of these things, but it might be too heavy. I don't know what's gonna happen here. Oh no. See, I have a really cheap mount. How am I gonna do this? I don't know, guys. Might be too heavy. So yeah, it's gonna weigh it down too much. I'll have to think of a way to cool this down during the summer. But that's a good idea. Maybe if I had like a better mount. But I just have like a really little cheap gooseneck mount. That's what's holding my camera up. Let me think about that one. Yeah, Miss Abby, she's a sweetheart. I love her. She's always with me when I'm coloring. She always has to help me out. She just loves it. So me and Abby are coloring buddies. Sometimes she has to play with my supplies. So cute. And I've captured her sleeping with a couple of my pencils sometimes. So that's really fun. Sweetie. So I'm just, see, I've got some mistakes going on with this leaf, so I thought this would be a really great leaf to show you how to kind of remedy any marker mishaps. I didn't do it intentionally, but it is a good example. So I just take my time and see what's wrong with it, and then just kind of work around it. Oh, good afternoon, Loretta. Nice to see you. Thanks for joining us. So I'm still working on this page, but we're gonna wrap it up tomorrow, I think. So I just was telling everybody, we'll be voting on a new page tomorrow, I think, in my live stream. So if you guys are interested in picking the next page that I'll do, that's the one to catch. Alright, so that one looks a lot better, not so fudgy. It was all streaky and weird. So now it's much nicer. So I'll go, like this one here I've gone way out of the line. I'll show you how I recover from that. Coloring outside the lines is not a big deal as long as you are willing to go with the flow. So first I'm just darkening up that center area and right underneath the leaf, the petal, sorry. Now I'm just gonna change the way that this leaf looks to make this less noticeably a mistake and more intentional looking, basically. So mistakes are just fine. That's no big deal. And everybody makes them, so we're all human. Well, except Abby, she's perfect. The little kitty cat. Alright. Oh, nice, Loretta. I didn't sleep in, but I tried to. I have trouble sleeping in. I think it's mostly Abby waking me up because she gets hungry. And then after I feed her, I end up like, oh, let's do this, and then I'm awake. And that's just the end of that. So when I'm going to sleep, I just sort of pass out, like, can't help it. Like, I try and stay awake late, and I just can't do it. I end up falling asleep. Like, last night I tried to stay awake, and I was chatting with someone, and I fell asleep while I was chatting, and I felt so bad, and when I woke up in the morning, I'm like, I'm so sorry I fell asleep. Just how it goes. Alright, so I'm just darkening up this spot here so that it looks more intentional, like it's meant to be there, basically masking and disguising that outline. So there's always a way to recover somehow. You just gotta get creative, that's all. And these streaks don't bother me too much, but I will smooth a couple of them out. Right along the center line, just make it a little darker. Exactly, Hella. Mistakes can sometimes be a happy accident. Loretta. Yeah, Abby wakes up precisely at 5 a.m. every morning, whether I like it or not, but she keeps me on schedule, so it's good. I started the 5 a.m. and that now she just continues it for me. So whether I like it or not, I'm up at that hour. But I don't mind. She's got a little hungry tummy and I have to help her out, so. Alright, so I think you can really see the difference between the leaves that are just marker and with the colored pencil added in. I'll do another here. This is a simpler leaf, but just to show you how I would go about. This leaf is behind this leaf, so I'm going to actually darken up quite a bit of it. Really make it in shadow. And now just lightening up my touch as I get closer to the light source. Yeah. So let's see. What else should I do here? Let's zoom out. Please pardon the kitty foot. Hello, Nisha. Welcome. Alright, so we did this flower here and a couple of the leaves. I think what I'll do is I'll do another smaller flower that's facing away, so you see how I would accomplish that. Let's see if I can get the little kitty. Oh yeah, sorry, Abs. Let's just move your foot a little. There we go. And maybe we can zoom in a little more. There we go. It's sort of in camera. Just maybe rotate it. There we go. So I'll continue on with this this color here. This is the PC988 Marine Green. And I'll show you guys. This is like the stem. So I've colored way outside the lines here too. That's no big deal. Just gonna, again, just darken up. Make it less noticeable. So it looks intentional, that's all. Alright, cutie. Abby's so funny. I love it. Okay. Don't fall off now. She's like moving around. Oh, sorry, did I mess up your spot, Ab? Okay, so we have this leafy action here. And then I'm going to switch over to my PC 1025 Periwinkle. Let's give a little more, let's take out some of these streaks and give a little more dimension to these petals. Um, I I did give tips on blending the last episode, but I can do it at the end of this one if you'd like. We can do like a demo off of the page if you'd like. We could totally do that. I'll give it a little scrap paper. So, oh, I'm sorry. Switching over to PC 933 Violet Blue, and just giving some darker spots right around the base of the little bud here. Do you guys want me to do that? Yeah, right now Abby is very, here I'll show you guys. She is so funny. She's like basically sleeping on the book now. Hello, cutie. Hanging off the desk, you know. Just generally. Hi, cutie. Alright, so I'll switch over to doing a little blending. Let's just scooch this out. Here we go. So I'm going to swap over to something a little different here. Let me just grab. There we go. I've got a little sketchbook here, so let's just do a little blending demo. So there's a lot of different ways that you can blend. Oh, hold on. Let me also get a couple other items. There we go. Okay, so there are several different ways that you can blend. So I'm going to show you a couple different methods, and then we'll go from there. So I'll blend. Let's see, let's pick two very different colors. So that way we really get a good sense. Let's do, oh, cutie. Let's do this color and this color. Okay, so I'm gonna blend this Parma Violet and Henna, so it's PC 1008 and PC 1031. So what I'm going to start out with is I'll do a couple different swatches, that way you see. So you always have to start out first with just layering the pencil. You need enough pigment on the paper so that you can blend them together. So we're going to do like a little demo of how I'm going to do this. So I go from a gradient. So these two are very different colors. If the color is closer, then it's a lot easier. So you see how I'm just sort of gently layering in, so it goes from dark to slightly lighter. Switching back to my purple. Like so, and switching back over to the henna color. So this way of blending, you could keep going and going until you layer it, and that's just a layering technique. And it does take a while, but it is actually my preferred method. Okay, but if you want to stop about here, you can. Now there are a couple different ways that you can blend, and they all produce slightly different results. You can use a blender pencil. I have here the Lyra Splendor Blender. I actually got this as a recommendation from Simple Art for Adults. She's amazing. If you haven't checked out that channel, I'll link it in the description below after I'm done. So I got this pencil. There's also like the Prismacolor blender pencil or any other brand of blender pencil that you have. So I'll show you how I go ahead and do this. Now, you want to work, you don't want to press super hard all at once because it will create kind of a splotchy effect. But I just go in with sort of like an oval for this situation. Like an oval kind of motion, and just gently go over the pencil and just go ahead and smash it all together until it's not, the paper tooth is not visible anymore. And you really have to have enough pigment on the paper to accomplish this, otherwise what will end up happening is it will look splotchy. You'll just be pushing around the pigment, but it won't be enough to actually like push into the paper. So that's really the biggest key there. You saw I did put quite a few layers of pencil down, and that's how you achieve that effect. So this works really nice. I love this blender. I really recommend it. So, alright. So there's that guy. So let's do a different type of blending. So I'm going to do the same thing. So this type of blending that I'm going to show you next is something that I discovered recently, and I just love it. I use it a lot now. So I'll show you what I'm going to do. So again, I'm just doing the same base technique of doing a gradient. So I press harder and put more layers on the outside, and then overlap the two colors with a lighter touch on the inner spots. And this really just takes a little bit of patience to get it right. And these two colors are really hard to blend together, and that's why I picked them, because they don't naturally want to look nice together, so it can be very difficult for some colors to blend well. But there's still ways. I think this looks pretty decent. So there are still ways to get the pencils to blend together. Yep, there is no right or wrong way. A lot of people press very hard right from the outset, and that's okay too. But for blending, that can make it very difficult. Let me show you. I'll do another demo on blending with a harder touch. Okay, so now I gotta find. Alright. Okay, so here I have the Tombow blender marker. These usually come in any Tombow set, and okay, that comes with experience and time. Yeah, picking the right colors can be tricky. Color is a very complex thing, so don't feel discouraged. I think that just takes some time. This is a really fun way to blend. I feel like it's easier, it's faster, it's easier on my hands, I don't have to press hard. So this is the Tombow blender marker, and I don't use it to blend, make sure it's clean, yep. I don't use it to blend markers very much, but what's great is with Prismacolor especially is it just dissolves that wax and meshes it all together. You can see it, I can like push it around, like, you know, do other things with it. So this almost becomes like a water-based I don't even know how to explain. So it can be a little more difficult to control, but very, very fun. But now let me clean this off just so that it doesn't stay that color. So that's a really, really fun way to blend. Much quicker, easier. I also use a light gray if I want it to be slightly darker. I'll show you that. So say like I want to add some shadow to some pencil, you can go right on over. So this is the N60 gray, and you can just go right on over it, and it kind of darkens up the color depending on how many layers you put down. So just make sure to have a scrap paper that you can clean off your markers with. Otherwise the wax buildup will ruin the marker tip. So that's a lot of fun. Another way to blend, let's do with the hard touch right on the outset, just to make it. Yeah, I discovered that by accident, and now I use it all the time. I love it. So I'm pressing pretty hard right from the get-go, and there is a way to blend doing this, and that's just fine. So I'm going to stop halfway between. So this is a very solid way to color. A lot of people use this technique. There's nothing wrong with it. It's not my method, but that doesn't mean that there's anything wrong with it. But now you see, using the same amount of pressure, I go right on over and go about 1/3 of the way into that color. And now I'm going to go and do 1/3 of the way into this color and kind of mash it all together. So using a harder touch is not, there's nothing wrong with that. There is a way to blend that way, and it gives you a very nice, vibrant result. So as far as picking colors go, it's a really, really easy thing to do to pick colors that are similar to each other. These two are very difficult to blend with, but I'll show you guys an easier blend. So picking colors that are similar on the color spectrum and blending them together is a really nice way to go. You can, oh, it still looks grainy, huh? Well, it might be, what kind of pencils are you using? I'm using the Prismacolor, and they're very creamy and they're soft. I'm going to blend these two to show you it's very, very easy to blend two colors that are similar to each other. So we have Lilac and Parma Violet here. And I'm going to do it in the heavy touch, just to show you this is not how I normally do it. But because the colors are very similar and one is just slightly darker than the other, let me do it from this side. It creates a really smooth, very nice blend. So if you're not sure, picking two colors that are similar but not the same is a nice way to go. And I'll show you with the lighter touch as well. So this is the lighter one, the lilac color. But if you can master it in a color combo that isn't very easy, like the first one I picked, then you can do it with any color combo. So that's why I showed you with the difficult colors. And actually, on this one, I'll show you a different technique, a totally different way of blending. I use this sometimes too. So say this is this is close to what you want, but it's not quite the right color. Maybe you've gone too dark with it. Maybe you want to brighten it up a little bit, or maybe it's too saturated a color. I also use the white Prismacolor pencil, which I'll show you. So right now I'm just sort of layering it. But say this is too dark. This is not exactly what I want. Let's see here. Oh yeah, the Color Soft are harder leads, so yeah, you just need more more pigment on the paper. But here's the white here. And I'm sorry I don't have the Derwents, or I would show you with those. So the white pencil, what's nice about this is it lightens it up and it smashes it all together. So it's sort of like a blender, but it just creates a different look. So sometimes I'll intentionally color an area darker that I want and then go over it with the white. So that's another way to blend out. I find that this works the best with Prismas. Some other pencils I have, it doesn't work as nice as this white Prismacolor. So, but that's another way to blend out. So there's a couple of different, yeah, you just need to, if you're not getting a smooth blend, usually the culprit is that you don't have enough pigment on the paper. So even if you're pressing really hard, sometimes you'll have to go over it a couple of times for it to have enough pigment to then blend. Or another culprit could be the paper itself. If the paper is very, very toothy, like this is a medium smooth, this is a sketchbook. This is like a regular old Strathmore sketchbook. So this doesn't have a whole lot of tooth to it. If you're working on very textured paper, sometimes that can be really difficult to blend, in which case I would suggest using the Tombow marker, just because it'll get into all those little cracks of the paper and make it a little easier for you. Nope, you can, a lot of the time I leave areas completely unblended, so you do not have to blend out every single little last bit of the paper. Sometimes it gives a really nice effect. Like with butterfly wings, they have like scales if you look at them really close, so sometimes leaving the white of the paper gives a really nice, beautiful, like, textured look. And then sometimes areas where you want it to feel really solid and concrete, that's where you want to blend out. So it really does depend on the look you're going for and the effect that you want. But yeah, blending is entirely optional. There are so many beautiful colored pencil pieces I've seen out there that have actually no blending. They let the paper show through. A really great example of this is Michelle. I'll leave her in the description below, a link to her page. Most of the time in her pieces, she doesn't press super hard. She lets the paper show through, but just the way that she does it is just so beautiful and delicate. So it really works well. So it really does depend on your own preferences, your own style. There's no right or wrong way to color. So as long as you're having fun and learning and getting better, you know, over time, you'll really find what works the best for you. So I would just suggest trying all sorts of different techniques. I've seen people use Gamsol. It's sort of very similar to the way that the Tombow marker works, but I prefer the Tombows only because they're not smelly and they're a lot easier to work with. So, you know, there's a lot of other techniques than the ways that I showed you here. So it really is like a personal journey that you're on, and you'll figure it out. I really do think so. You just got to keep at it. Oh, I'm glad that makes you feel better. Yeah, it's totally fine. And, you know, I think that art and coloring is such a personal thing. There's no one answer to any one solution. There's so many ways to get to the same result. So As long as you're having fun, I think that's the key. I think is if you're having fun, you'll keep at it, and if you keep at it, you'll keep getting better. And so just don't stress so much about maybe where you are now. You know, maybe just enjoy the process, enjoy learning. Don't be hard on yourself if you make mistakes, because in the end, that's how we learn. Like, oh, okay, I made a mistake here. I won't do that again. You know, you just got to approach it like, don't be so down on that process. Everybody goes through it, so you are not alone. It's all good. It's all fun. So, good. That's the most important thing. I love coloring too. I think it's really, really awesome. So, um, well, you know, Loretta, you can always move the kitty cats. I mean, I've done that too. I've moved Abby if she's in my way. Put her on my lap instead. All right, guys. Well, we're getting on an hour here, but I'm glad we had this little chat and the little demo here. And tomorrow I will be doing another episode from my Magical Dawn page. This guy here, the Starry Summer Girl. I'll zoom out so you guys can see where we're at with her. So if you guys want to join in tomorrow, I'm going to be finishing up the live stream versions of this page, and then I'll probably do a time lapse to show you how I complete the background and everything else that I haven't finished yet. So tomorrow we're going to be voting on a new page. I'm going to have several pieces, several books selected that you guys can pick from. Yeah, if you are interested in voting, then come tomorrow, 9 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, and we'll do that. Yeah, you know, I get that way too, so don't feel bad. Everybody struggles with wanting to get better right now. We all want to get better, like, this very second, right? But over the years, I've really found that I do see my own improvement. And if you really feel frustrated, look back to the first piece you ever colored. That always gives me such a big boost. Like, whenever I see my early drawings or my early paintings, and I look at them and I'm like, wow, I really have come a long way. So if you feel discouraged, take a look at the first piece you ever colored and then compare it to the piece that you've just finished. And you'll really understand how far you've come, and it'll make you feel a lot better. So don't compare yourself to other people. Compare yourself to yourself, your past self, if you will. All right, hello. Thank you so much for joining. You're so welcome. Well, thank you guys for joining me. It's always great to chat with you and to show you stuff and to learn with you. Yeah, that's a great advice, Loretta. There are so many awesome live streamers and YouTube colorists out there. So luckily, we're all creating content all the time, and there's always something to search for. So. And if you guys, you know, if there's some technique that you don't see out there and you want me to do, want me to show you, I'm really happy to do that. So just let me know. Just leave a comment, and I'll add it to my list. Oh, that's okay, Loretta. And you can always see it later if you're really curious. But we're going to keep going, so don't worry. Alright guys, again, thank you. I really appreciate all of your likes and your subscriptions. It means so much to me. And as always, I hope you have a wonderful, magical time.